Rap has always been about evolution, from the streets to the stadiums, from the mixtape hustle to billion-dollar brands. But lately, something feels different. We've got tons of talent, a flood of new artists every week. But when's the last time we saw a true rap star rise up? Not just a viral hit, not just a TikTok trend. I'm talking about someone who defines an era, changes the sound, and unites the culture. And what that means for the future of hip-hop. But first, let's rewind. In the 2000s and the early 2010s, hip-hop was a star-making machine. Every few years, someone would rise from the underground and take over the world. Lil Wayne built a whole generation under him. Drake and Nicki Minaj came straight from his tree. Kanye turned himself into a cultural phenomenon, blending fashion, sound, and controversy.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
These artists weren't just rappers. They were voices in eras in themselves. They had time to grow, to dominate, and to shape the culture. The internet helped them, but it didn't define them. That's a key difference. Each of these artists was massive, unique, and owned a lane. They didn't just drop songs all willy-nilly. They dropped moments. Every album release felt like a cultural event. People argued, tweeted, wrote think pieces. It mattered. I was there. Then came streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and later TikTok. It made it so much easier to get your music out and to go viral overnight, just like that. But that same system that created access also destroyed longevity. Artists no longer build fan bases over years, they build them over weeks. A viral moment can make a song huge, but it rarely makes an artist matter. Today, fans connect more with songs than with identities of the people creating the music. That's why you'll see someone with a top 10 TikTok hit, but no sold out tour, no cult following, no superstar energy. Streaming awards quantity, not mystery, not evolution, and most importantly, not legacy. And in that environment, I don't care what no one says, superstardom dies. Back in the day, to get noticed, you had to grind for years. Mixtapes, cosigns, radio spin. Now anyone can just upload a track online and have it blow up overnight. Back in the day, getting signed or co-signed meant something.
And I was cashing my check on a Saturday. It was a banging ass line, I remember. And my homie called me and was like, "Yo, you listening to the radio?" And I'm like, "Nah, what's up?" He like, "Man, Kanye on the radio, man. He playing his new record. Yo, if you go down to the radio station and rap for him, he'll sign you." And I'm like, "Nigga, fuck you talking about? Hell, you know." But that idea was so inspiring that I would straight up walked out of line without cashing my check. Went and grabbed my CDs from the crib, smashed down to the station, finagled my way in the back offices, got past his security guard, got past his road manager, met him. You know, I told him I'm an aspiring MC. I do this show here every Friday. Can I rap for you? And he's like, "Man, I gotta go, man." I'm like, "Please, man, I ride to school listening to you. You my hero." He was like, "All right, man, you got 16 bars, but you got to rap while we walking out the station." At first, he wasn't really paying attention when I started rapping, but as soon as we got to the entrance of the station, he stopped and started bobbing his head. I was so nervous. I never met a celebrity. I started rapping towards the floor and ended up rapping for like 10 minutes straight. And he fucked with it, man. I gave him my CD. That's how the initiating contact began. And it took a couple years, though, honestly, after that. You know, I gave up a lot of shit, man. I gave up a scholarship, college. I gave up a lot of shit I really wanted to do.
A label deal or a Drake feature could launch a career overnight. But now everyone's independent. Everyone's uploading. It's so much saturation. Thousands of rappers dropping music every day. Everyone's fighting for the same spotlight, the same playlist, the same algorithm slot. When everyone's famous, nobody is. Without structure, without those filters that used to push only the best to the top, it's nearly impossible for anyone to break through and stay there. And the audience? They move on the second something new drops. Doesn't mean rap has no stars though. It's just the definition of a star has changed. Instead of one dominant figure who defines a generation, we have hundreds of mini stars who dominate their own corners of the internet. Yeet rules his lane, Jack Harlow rules his lane, Ice Spice rules hers, even though the music is garbage, I can't lie. Playboi Carti built a cult that feels religious. These artists are big, but they're not, global. They don't have the cross demographic pull that Drake or Kendrick did. Their fame is powerful. Like, I'm not trying to remind these men and women and their success and everything. Rap has splintered into so many micro communities, and that means no one artist can represent the culture. Quotations on culture. In a way, we're approaching the end of the mainstream rapper as we once knew it. Remember back then, a hit like Hotline Bling or Humble, it reached everyone. Now a superstar might be huge on TikTok. I'm talking about millions and billions of followers all across all the social media platforms, but invisible to half of the culture. Rap used to have main characters, now it's more like an ensemble cast, tons of talent, but no clear lead. Another big reason is the industry, man. The industry is a lot to blame for it, It shifted from a music industry to a marketing industry. Image drives everything now. Fashion, aesthetics, controversy. The music almost feels secondary, which sucks. That's why we have so much lame music coming out constantly. When the focus is on content instead of craft, you don't get superstars. You get influencers who just so happen to rap sometimes. Real icons connect through their stories, their growth, their voice. But in today's industry, it doesn't give artists time to develop properly. If your first project doesn't hit, they're throwing you to the wolves. They're saying you're washed. They're saying you trash. The internet will move on from you. The labels move on. Even your fans. Superstardom needs patience, and the modern rap cycle doesn't have any for new artists. Not trying to be super negative the entire video, so I beg this question. Can rap ever create a new superstar? Again, the answer isn't simple, but it's not hopeless either. To rebuild that kind of legend-making system, the culture needs storytelling, authenticity, and time. The next superstar won't just drop a viral song that people like for a week or maybe 2 weeks. They'll create a world people want to live in. Something truly special. Someone who blends personality, message, and consistency. Who knows, guys? Maybe it's already happening. And it's just in the underground, and we don't know who that person is just yet. I want to say is don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. Because every era thinks it's out of heroes until the next one shows up. But if not, never happens and we don't get a superstar for the foreseeable future, that will be okay. Hip hop has always adapted through generations. Look back. Every time someone proclaimed that hip hop is dead, it has came back with the viciousness very soon. I have no doubt that we will adapt into a better system at some point. Maybe the future isn't about one Drake. It's about a dozen movements happening at once. But still, a part of us misses that feeling. I know I do. The album that drops and it stops time. The verse that everyone quotes. The artist who unites the culture, even if it's just for a moment. Until that next figure arrives, if they do, we will keep evolving. Fast, fragmented, and fiercely. But until then, we will always be asking, what's next?